All right, so for Charlie Kirk, these are the allegations, all right, of what he stood for, because I didn't agree with literally about 90 to 95% of the stuff that he spoke of based on stuff that I've heard. But this is basically the stuff that is online, public records of the stuff that he stood for. He advocated for public executions of LGBTQ folks. He was a massive anti-Semite and blamed for the October 7th massacre on Jewish control, and was also fine with the genocide of Gazans. He believed white people were being replaced and believed God cursed black people, making slavery acceptable. He believed women shouldn't be in the workforce. He was unempathetic to children killed in school shootings, saying it was the necessary price for being free to own guns. Now, I haven't fact-checked none of these things, but one thing I can tell you is this: his message was literally all about separation. The crazy thing is that I can see how he would use certain prescriptions to address certain isolated things. It's almost like the pharmaceutical industry. When you have a problem, they use a prescription to address the isolated symptom of the problem, but never addressing the root cause of the problem. And the root cause of the problem comes from something that isn't even physical. But all ideas are coming from an idea of something else, and everything is going to manifest as a manifestation of something. So I'll give you an example. I've made videos where women are the physical manifestation of feminine energy. That doesn't mean feminine energy is only for the gender of women, because men can have feminine energy. Black people are the expression of feminine energy. All right. Now, I have many reasons to say why black people are the manifestation of feminine energy, and I'll say it now to make sure that I'm very clear in this video. But this is my perspective on it, that I did not look up. Just it's common sense. It's like literally as clear as day in plain sight. Okay, but when you look at what the ideology behind the feminist movement for some people are, especially the right wing, they say that feminism is the fight for equality, for women to be equal to the men. Okay, when you see and that comes from a victim mentality, right? But that also comes from a space of not knowing yourself. When you look at black people come from the same space. I've seen these black people go online and say that they fight for reparations, affirmative actions in school. Okay, they say the white man took everything from them. It's sort of like they're trying to be equal to the black man, but they cannot be equal to the black man. They're trying to be equal to the white man. The white man is the physical manifestation of masculine energy. It's just by the hue. That's all it is. And that's a physical representation of it. It's just like a woman. A woman is the physical representation of what she is as far as her biological makeup, which is a woman. That's a truth that can never be changed. That's a truth that can never be changed. Now, her duties as a woman are things that were her capabilities, let's say, as a woman, are things that a man cannot do, such as having babies, such as her emotional character, all right, is something that is very hard for a man to be. You get what I'm saying? Is as emotional as a woman. But when you have a man has more physical strength than a woman. He is more logical. He's more left-brained, while a woman is more right-brained. Imagination, creativity. This is what kids have. That's why I put kids in the category of feminine energy the other day that I made the video. Go check it out, because it's probably one of the most in-depth, detailed videos that will explain even this position that I have as far as what I'm covering today. So the kids, the children are a physical manifestation of feminine energy. They are receiving, especially from the ages of 1 to 7, they're absorbing their environment. This is why in order for you to have kids, you should know yourself very well, and then you'll attract the right partner. You will also be in good health so that you don't pass genetic weaknesses to this child. Okay? You can also control what star constellation he'll be born in, what gender, all right? How he will look. All this fly stuff. These are things you can do. You can literally become the things also in your reality and actually experience it in real time as yourself. If you're looking at the sun, you can experience the sun because nothing outside of you is not you. Everything is you. Everything. And you can actually experience anything outside of you as yourself. We forgot this ability. I had a glimpse of this just upon waking up, where I woke up in the ocean as a crab. And that's always intrigued me, always. And a couple of times I had this happen where I was able to experience something other than myself. I was not in this form. Like my consciousness, the awareness of what I experience every day was outside of this body and into another form. You can actually look at this and say, well, where are we, in a prison planet, or are we in the kingdom of heaven? Because if you were in a prison, you can't get out of that prison. So suppose that you wanted to experience something outside of yourself, but you can't do it because you're secluded to just this body. It's sort of like you're limited. But the thing is, I know you're not limited because I was able to experience that. And we have this ability. Look at when we have conversations. You don't ever hear somebody say, hey man, let me explain something to you. But listen, put yourself in my shoes. And then they start to explain things to you. You become very present. And what happens? You start to develop mental pictures. You start to kind of see where the person's coming from. You start to maybe get a little bit emotionally involved with what they're saying because you're on a subtle level putting yourself in their shoes. But that's all you can experience, just a subtle level of it, right? You can actually fully experience death the way you can fully experience life. How do you fully experience life? Some people are just existing. They're not really experiencing life. They're just existing. And why? Could it be because you don't understand death, or you haven't fully experienced something they keep you away from the moment you come in here, and that's death? The Bible tells you you want to live everlasting life with Christ, right? All those shorts I presented to you, right? The technology is beautiful. It's a great technology, right? Great piece of tool of technology. A lot of people would say, oh, that's AI. Those are AI videos. You got to go through the weeds of all this shit. Because it's not the videos that are altered. Your reality is altered, and we happen to just be recording it. That's the way that you change the way you're looking at it. We're not altering reality through videos. The videos are recording the reality being altered in real time. We've had all these fucking things happen back in time that we still can't explain today. Like in 1943, right? The Roswell crash of New Mexico. The aliens that crashed. Or the Battle of Los Angeles over the skies in 1942. In February. A lot of symbolism behind that. I would have to go back and look at it because the dates, the times, everything that's happened is all according to a specific number. And it all has symbology. Look, we're in a mathematical universe. Everything is perfect. People lie. Things can appear to be fake. Numbers don't lie. Numbers never lie. Now, we, the people, buy into this idea that a white man is going to come from the sky. And why do I point to the sky? Because every time I talk to a Christian person, they're always saying, God's going to return, and they're looking up. And I'm like, why are you pointing up, though? Why are you pointing up, bro? You don't know what up is? If I throw you up into outer space, and I get you far away from the earth, to the point where you don't know what direction is, you know, where are you going to be pointing to? So suppose that I throw you up into space and you end up being sideways. You're still going to always point up, right? Because you're never going to know what up is. You're only going to know what up is based on where your head is at, according to the coordinates of your body. So what does that mean? God is in your head. The heavens are here. He's not coming from the sky. It's all in your head. You buy into this idea that a man is going to come from the sky and save the planet. But you're getting shown this technology in real time, in grounded reality, through videos. And that's still hard to believe, right? You don't buy into that. You don't buy into life force frequency, but you buy into the idea of Wi-Fi, right? Wi-Fi is basically your wife. Husband is the household. She's the frequency. You're the vibration. And the vibration is the feminine energy, isn't it? But because your body is made of water, the awareness is the masculine. You see how you can kind of interchange all those things? It's kind of like your hand. La mano. My whole hand is feminine, but my fingers are masculine. El dedo, los dedos. Because in Spanish you can decode the polarity makeup of what they are. In English you can only say the. Right? But in Spanish you can say la or el. El is masculine. Los is masculine. La is feminine. Las is feminine. So my fingers are masculine. And isn't that where all your feeling sensations are? When you want to feel something, you kind of feel it with the tips of your finger. They're also where you release certain electricity through. That's why you get static electricity when you touch certain things, right? That has certain form of conducive chemistry to it. So you can decode all these things by understanding the words that we're using. Okay? So we buy into this idea of a man coming from the sky, and we have to worship another man. But the proof is in the pudding right now. In real time, you're experiencing all this recorded. Back then, we rely on recorded history. How? Through hieroglyphs, through, whatever ideas we could pop up with. Right now, it's in recorded history. Recorded meaning through video camera. You saw when he got shot, all the blood splattered out, but it never stained the shirt to the point where the blood would spread. It was just like pouring out, and it would touch the shirt, but it looked like it was just sliding off his shirt. The ring slides from his ring finger to his pinky finger. The F on the shirt disappears. He always had a little black dot over here. There's glitches happening, right? Now, if somebody was to ask me, so do you think he's dead or he's not dead? It doesn't fucking matter. How do you know anybody outside of you is alive? How do you know you're the only one that's not alive? How do you know you're the only one that's alive here? You're not alone on this planet. You're just experiencing everybody, and they're not really alive. The only person that's alive is you, and you are actually bringing them into existence because you're alive. You ever thought about that, for example? Just sit and ponder on that. It's kind of freaky, isn't it? Like, just to think, are you really moving and going places, or is the world just moving under you? But it feels like you're actually moving. Almost like if you're wearing some virtual reality goggles. It may feel like you're going somewhere, but you're still always in the same spot. Now, with this whole Charlie Kirk thing, his message was very inflammatory. But I don't think anybody should die for voicing their opinions. You know what I'm saying? Nobody should die for voicing their opinions. When it comes down to all this, as far as this life that you're in is to teach you how to integrate all these things. Integration is the key, not separation. That's what literally love is. That's why they say love is the answer to everything. But it has to come down to trust. The trust is a secret ingredient for love to thrive. You trust in the process when you want to manifest something, right? You trust your partner, otherwise you have no relationship. An animal has to trust you before it comes and gives you any type of attention for you to pet it or any fucking thing of the sort. Even to give it food, it still has to trust that you're not going to eat it or kill it. So trust is the key, but trust has to exist in you first. How could you expect trust outside of you if it doesn't exist in you? How could you attract love if you're not love? You can attract it, but in a way where you would say, I love to hate. Because you can love to hate, or you can hate to love. It's a fine line between the two. It's just like we're in parallel realities. The metaphysical world is literally so skin parallel to our physical realm, and it's what influences your reality. Because everything here that we're experiencing starts from an idea. So you die for your ideologies. What is your idea of everything that's happened outside of you? Almost like a dream, right? Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Check this out. When you have a dream, doesn't matter the people, places, and things in the dream. Doesn't matter. It's always going to be in your head. I can say, hey man, I had a dream about you, but we were with these people. That person is going to say, oh, that's nice. They weren't there. It was all in your head. So you have these people in your dream. You're going through an experience. The question you ask yourself is, how do I feel in the dream? How did that dream make me feel? How did the experience make me feel? That's the important question to ask. That's why they say feeling is the key. Feeling is conscious awareness of vibration. A frequency is a level of vibration. You have thoughts. They're not yours. But you can generate a thought. And you could think about something that nobody has ever thought before. You have a unique experience to do this. You have a unique experience and ability to do this. Everything in life that you're experiencing a representation of something. So the black people, they're a representation of feminine energy. You're a representation of God in physical form. It could be the negative polarity or the positive polarity. Man or a woman. That's why a woman still has the word man in it. Male and female still has the word male in it. Everybody is a kind of man. That's why they talk about mankind. They're talking about everybody in general. Charlie Kirk's message about women and men and all this fly shit, the nuclear family, is all talking about the mind. Because it's all about the mind. It's about your marvelous mind. They tell you to stop imagining, stop dreaming, because it's very childish. But the imagination can take you anywhere and give you anything you want in real time. How crazy is that? Huh? Your mind can't tell the difference between a real or a fake experience. So you experience your reality right now with your imagination. And the universe has no choice but to grant you your desires. Only when you have control of your mind. But even if you don't have a control of your mind and somebody else is controlling it for you, you'll experience a chaotic reality and you'll say, how did this happen? What's happening? What did I do to attract this? You have to think. Man is not thinking though. Mental activity doesn't constitute thinking. With this whole Charlie Kirk thing, the woman is your subconscious mind. That's what the woman is. Your subconscious mind. You impregnate the subconscious mind and you experience a reality. There's a gestation period. There are seasons that you go through. Whatever you're going through in your mind, you will more than likely always experience what you're going through, unless there's a variable that's changed based on some doubt or some type of form that you changed through your mind. So if I'm focusing on my reality to change, I would have to live in the end. I have to focus in the end. That's why they say trust the process, because you don't think about the process. The process is God's job. And that job of God, the awareness, the authority, is no different than you sitting in a fucking restaurant. You place an order. You're not going to fucking stress out about the order coming. Hey man, can you give me some extra pickles? I know this order comes with this sauce, but can you change it to this sauce? Because I don't like this sauce. I'm allergic to this. So take this out and replace it with this, because that would be a little bit better for me, because if not, I would have a bad reaction to it. And also, can I also get maybe a little side dressing, because I don't like the texture. You see, and you'll expect it to be done correctly, right? When I go to work, I'm the manager and I have employees. I go to my job and I tell my employees what their duties of responsibilities are, what time frame they have to complete it. When I leave, I assume when I get back, it's going to get done. That's the law of assumption. It's going to get done. I don't leave thinking about it, how they're going to do it, if they're really not going to do it. I don't think about none of that. I assume it will get done. And when I get back, it is done. Because my employees are reflections of me. So if they respect me, they will get the job done. If they're insubordinate employees, they're only a mirror reflection of what I am. The business and how it operates, any business, I'm only bringing an example here. It's a reflection of yourself. So if I have another boss above me and something doesn't go right in my store, what am I going to do? Blame my associates? The manager's going to say, well, I hired you to get this job done. I hired you to train and develop associates to get their duties and responsibilities done. Why did I hire you for? I mean, he's not going to come and correct them. He corrects me. That's how the chain of command works. But it works in a specific order based on your credentials, your history, and your credibility, and your ability to do this, your aptitude. You could work your way up in the rankings when it comes to work. And you demonstrate this through operations, through numbers, performance. Some people do it ass kissing, which is something I'm very bad at. But I don't need to do that. Because I'm a G, I get shit done. You got some people that when they climb up in the rankings, they will get their message across, and people, they subordinate and follow. They subordinate and follow. They subordinate and follow. And why does that happen? Respect, trust, right? It's harmony. But you don't force people because you're not slaving anybody. You force slaves only. Now, the employees that are working there, let's say, including myself as the manager or even the manager above me, they have the ability to do godlike things beyond what the fuck we're even doing in that organization. But that's all based on awareness, though. So some people work and do things because they have to, right? How many things in your life are doing? How many of you are you doing things in your life because you have to, and not because you want to or because you can? I tell people this all the time. I do what I do because I can. If I cannot do it, then I'll think twice about doing it. Why? In a way, it's called street smarts. It's called street smarts. You may want to take a step back. Do you want to learn through experiences? Through the detriments, the traumas, the failures? Nothing wrong with that. But it depends on what you're doing. That's what matters. Or you can watch others' mistakes in the process of your growth. And that's what children do, don't they? Children watch their parents. But you are different than the child. The child is not logically thinking. They're just completely receiving, no matter what the information is. It could be corrupt or good. You are a conscious, aware, masculine figure, whether you're a man or a woman. So you're aware of what you're seeing. Instead of being programmed by the negative shit you see from others, you're changing that and making that and transmuting it to work in your favor now, for you to succeed. This whole reality, if you start to actually believe in your heart that you are God, everything's going to change. What's going to happen here? There's people who have to force their women to submit to them. They have to push their woman as if they were some type of fucking worker for them. It doesn't have to happen that way. If you got your woman in order in your mind, your subconscious mind, your heart is straight, your body is in right shape, meaning your subconscious mind is in order, the feminine energy is in order, you're subordinate to your awareness. That starts with you first. How could you have a fucking chick subordinate to you? Your ego is feminine. You surrender your ego. You don't have to kill your ego. But the ego is feminine. And in a way, it wants to be masculine through control. The masculine doesn't have to control. The masculine directs. And things subordinately, harmoniously concede and follow. Submit to the masculine energy. Submitting does not mean submit like you give something up. And it can be. You give up your ego to your awareness and your masculine energy. Your ego wants to give you some bad ideas because it likes the comfort. It likes the control. It likes the safety. That's feminine. You direct and show your woman that the alternative way works, and you have to impress the subconscious mind with this, or your woman. And I'm using the word woman as far as gender for conversation purposes, to put things into context, to have you understand what I'm talking about. You're nothing but a rep. You're not even a person. You're not a human. You're not human. So me even saying man and woman, blacks and whites, you shouldn't get offended because you're none of these things. You're beyond these things. I told you, you can leave the awareness of this body and your awareness can be experienced in something totally different. Look up at the stars and experience yourself as one of those stars up in the sky. What do you think these people have not perfected it? Why are they celebrated stars in Hollywood? They call them superstars, celebrities. You look up to these motherfuckers and make them stars. That's why we look up at the stars at night. I did this a couple times at night, and I had certain emotions. And I realized that that was the key. And I went to bed, meditated. But when I went to bed, my dreams were so fucking vivid. It was almost like I surfaced everything that I was feeling and it showed it to me in visual images. There was one dream that I had just recently where I'm actually, I don't know how to swim. So the water is something that I don't usually do too much of, water sports. But in my dream, I'm riding a jet ski. And these waves got so big, they look the size of buildings. But one thing that was very interesting is I wasn't scared in the water. I know how to swim. I was swimming in these chaotic waters. I thought my jet ski was gonna break because these fucking waves were so high, and I'm slamming like poof, slamming on the water. But nothing broke. Everything was stiff. Everything was great. It's like I had total control. I was actually enjoying it. That meant a lot to me, though. If you look up at the stars at night, middle of the night, and just whatever you're going through, your most recent thing, anything that's happening in your life, feel the emotion, whether it's negative or positive. Just feel it. Feel it. Like really feel it. Don't judge it, just feel it. And look up at the stars. Stargaze. Stargaze, just kind of like look, stargaze, be very present. Look up at the moon. Look up at everything up in the sky. Everything that's happening. You will experience some kind of magical experience. You will. But it's all, you have to start doing your mental work. It's like it's a form of shadow work. But shadow work is not like, you could do it ritualized, you know. There are ways to do it, but there's also ways to do shadow work where it's just literally making your mind up in that moment to just have an intention to do something. That's a form of shadow work. People think that, oh, I'm going to accomplish this by setting my mind to this. Almost like you're talking about it in future tense. Setting your mind is setting your mind in the present moment. So suppose that you want to change your reality to something that you're projecting that looks like it's in the future. No, you're setting your mind to experience it now. And it's almost like you're preparing for it because you're going to assume it's coming. And you trust it. And then you start working on that as if it already exists in your life, because it does, because you thought about it. Otherwise, you would have never thought about it. There was a time I told you I'm working on wood chips. I'm trying to find wood chips for my garden. When I first moved here, I couldn't find them anywhere. I was getting stressed out. Went to Lowe's, Walmart, but these wood chips they sold, they were cheap as hell. They were tinted, and they looked like they was just broken pallets. That's what the chips looked like. It was disgusting. Almost like splintered chips. Ugly. I'm growing food. I can't use that. So whatever. I kept setting up my garden. But the interesting thing is I kept setting up my garden as if I had wood chips. Because in my mind, I'm like, I'm going to get wood chips somewhere. I don't know where, but I'm going to get it. But I wasn't like coming from a space of desperation. Almost like I was already experiencing the wood chips there. I was like making the room for them, and I didn't even have it physically there. Came across some guy, and we had a conversation, and he told me that I had a nice accent, because I was like, I'm from New York, bro. I was like, oh, that's why. You don't sound like you're from here. So I thought, he told me, I told him I do a lot of gardening. We got into, and he goes, yeah. I meet a lot of, he told me I meet a lot of people who do gardening over here. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. I thought we were going to have something in common there. I was going to have some conversations, ask him for some tips and whatnot. He goes, no, I own a tree company. I just break the trees down for them, and I turn them into wood chips. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I was like, dude, can you please, like, I'll buy some wood chips from you. He's like, nah, I'll just drop you off some wood chips. Just tell me where you live. He drops me off wood chips anytime I want. It's funny because we became very good friends. You know, his family, my family, we're all friends. You know what I'm saying? We're all friends. I met his brothers. I met his wife. It's nice. Made new friends. And whenever he comes by, he gets some fruit and he brings me wood chips. A very beautiful exchange. So whenever I need wood chips, I'll text him, hey man, you got some wood chips? Brings them right over. Sometimes I'm not even home. He just drops them in the same place. So I got wood chips whenever I need them. And I've had certain experiences in my life where it occurred this way, almost like magic. But when you start becoming grateful and you have appreciation, then you actually get more of it. But you have to become aware of the things you're getting in your life and be very grateful. A lot of people become very aware of the negative things. Those are the things that they can't stop thinking about. If they get a bill, somebody pissed them off, they had an argument, it just replays in their mind, and they'll go to sleep even thinking about that. When you sleep a certain way, you're literally designing the next day. That's why they say it matters how you go to sleep. It matters how you live, because that determines how your experience is going to be when you leave your reality. They always say life after death, right? I'll make a separate video on that, because look at the word life after death. Are they talking about you have another life after you die, or are you living while you're dead? A lot of people think they're just going to be walking as if they're doing here and have everlasting life with God up in the sky. I'm going to make a separate video on that, because if God was all powerful, right, then I'll make a separate video. That's going to get too crazy and I'll get too long-winded here and I'll lose the point. But we were talking about Charlie Kirk, all right? And the reason that I wanted to show these videos and talk about what I'm talking about now is your reality is a video game. It really is. But the message that you're listening to, right wing, left wing, man against women, right? Blacks versus whites. I mean, all these things are created to you're creating your own duality, and that's an illusion if you buy into those ideas. Right wing, left wing. I have both wings. I'm the whole eagle. I'm the whole eagle. I'm not right wing or left wing. What's crazy is I have left wing ideologies and I also have right wing ideologies. Some people may have a polarization to one side and actually agree with certain values from the opposing side, but won't mention it, because then it would go against what they decided to polarize against. So they made a religion out of it. And nothing wrong with being religious, because if you do things religiously, but at least that benefit you, then you're doing things that work in your favor, and you created a religion that's benefiting you. And if it benefits you, it benefits others. If you empower yourself, you're empowering others. If you're awakening, you awaken others. If you help yourself, you help others. If you change, others will change. If you stay the same, you'll attract more of the same shit. That's all I got for this video. I'm going to make another part just in case I left something out. So like, share, subscribe, and we'll talk soon.